Hey guys, it's Hollywood Studios here, and we have some really interesting news coming out of Six Flags, specifically Six Flags Fiesta Texas, regarding something that previously we didn't know too much information about, but Six Flags has released pictures and some information about their new gaming esports center called E6. So I have the pictures of the facility flashing on screen now. The facility looks absolutely amazing. I mean, they did a really nice job with this thing. So essentially what it is it's a sponsorship between Six Flags and Coca-Cola, where essentially they will be able to host different tournaments, events, and live streams from this arena, if you want to call it that. I really don't know if you should call it a stadium, arena. It's really a mashup of different things. Essentially it's a giant arcade, but only made up of gaming PCs and consoles and things of that nature. So it's not what most people would think of as an arcade. It's more of an esports lounge, which again, not many people have been exposed to something like that yet, but I think this is the best example of what one of those are. I think this is a really cool looking facility. I don't know that it's actually going to be available to the general public. They haven't made that too clear. If I had to guess, this is going to be something that gets rented out or used for different tournaments and events exclusively, and that's how it's going to make its profitability back, because obviously a facility like this was not cheap. If you're familiar with the PC industry at all, you know that gaming computers, especially ones that I'm sure they got, which are probably pretty high quality, are not cheap at all. They're very expensive. Couple that with the fact that this stadium has tons of chairs, all gaming chairs, desks, monitors for each of those computers, and it looks like it even has some reclining chairs set up for consoles and whatnot. So that's a really expensive facility right there. And obviously a lot of that money could have been allocated to other things like improving food infrastructure or building new rides, but I think this is just going to be a giant test for the Six Flags chain. This is something that has the potential to be really successful and just absolutely blow up beyond what anyone could expect, or it could flop and not really go anywhere. I do think it's interesting that they chose Fiesta Texas to be the first park to receive one of these, as honestly, I would have gone for a park in a more generally, I guess, higher tech area. I'm not saying San Antonio is not like high tech, but I would have thought they'd go for a park like Magic Mountain or Great Adventure, where the areas they're in are pretty prone for something like that, like esports. I know esports is getting pretty big in New Jersey, and I imagine it is out in California as well. So I just find Fiesta Texas a bit of an interesting choice. I don't know if they're going to see the same success at Fiesta Texas as they could have at one of the other parks, but I do think this is something that could wind up spreading across the chain if the investment winds up paying off. Like I said, this is not a cheap investment. I wouldn't say it's on the level of a ride, but it's not far off either. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. It's definitely not cheap at all, and I'm really curious to see how this winds up paying off for the company. I know Salim sounded very confident in this in the last couple of calls, and I'm really curious to see how successful this is. I'm really curious what their ideology behind bringing this to the park is. I really don't know why they would dabble into something that other Six Flags and theme park chains as a whole have never done before. They've done virtual reality and things like that, but never anything on this scale. And like I said, this is not something that seems like it's open to the general public, which is why it kind of perplexes me a little bit. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out as time goes on. But if you guys enjoyed this brief update video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.